Hello everyone, this is Lucy05 and welcome to the Cobra Central Toy Review. And today's toy review, we're looking at the 2010 release by Hasbro of the Iron Man 2 action figure review. And today's action figure review, we're looking at the comic series number 30 of the Iron Man Mark VIII armor. Now, first things first, I need to complain about this is how Hasbro do their packaging. Now, you wouldn't even know that this is a Mark VIII armor. Front of the packaging did not state anything about Mark VIII, nor at the back of the packaging as well. You have to do some research in Wiki. So is it that hard for Hasbro to add the Roman numeral of VIII next to Iron Man name? Is it that hard? Or is it that expensive to just add a little bit description? No? I'm not too sure why. Now, let's take a look at the front of the packaging itself. You got the Iron Man Mark VIII armor being displayed in the front, and on the sides here you got the snap-on repulsor blast. At the bottom you got the 3 armor cards, and at the back, hiding behind the figure itself, you got the base stand. At the top of the packaging itself, you got the biography for Tony Stark on how he acquired the armor. This armor is the same armor that he used to defeat, well, Firepower after Silver Centurion armor was destroyed by Firepower. Now on the side here, series number 28 is the Iron Man armor with the horn face. Then at the bottom you have series number 29, the Guardsman armor worn by Kevin O'Brien. And at the bottom you've got series 31, the Titanium Man, which I already did the review for it. So without further ado, I already babbled long enough. Let's open up this packaging so I can molest the toy. Be right back. And we're back. I'm removing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from the packaging. Now let's take a look at the typical Iron Man 2 base stand. You've got a typical base stand here with a peg to fit at the bottom heel of the figure. You notice there's a hole here, there's a hole there as well. Fits nicely too, and it's not loose. Now the base itself has this, in the front part of the base, you have this empty slate, which Hasbro is too lazy and cutting costs and everything, refused to imprint the name of the figure itself. Top part here is the 3 slots for you to fit the 3 armor cards. You got the body, the legs, the arms and head. Not too sure if it's my imagination, because from this artwork it seemed like the head and the arms is overtly too huge. Maybe it's just my imagination. Anyways, you can actually swap around with the armor cards with the other Iron Man 2 armor cards to make your own armor. Next we have the snap-on repulsor blast, which is actually a soft plastic material with clear yellow translucent plastic. At the bottom here is a blast effect, and here you have a hole to fit it on the figure's left fist, like so. Fits it nicely and it's not loose. You can actually fit it onto the right hand despite it's open up so wide. Problem is you don't actually fit it all the way in, because the thumb will be sticking out unless you push the thumb all the way in. Problem is you also might deform the thumb, so you have to be careful on that part. I'm not actually suggesting everyone to do this, but you know, it looks much more nicer with the hand open up like that and, you know, shooting the repulsor blast. Now let's take a look at the figure's paint job. Surprisingly, a lot of this Mark VIII armor packaging, a lot of figures inside the packaging, they are all contain sloppy paint job. I'm not too sure why, especially on the thigh part and the upper bicep here. It looks like red spots. A lot of them have sort of like red spots covering the entire thigh and the arm itself. It's really sloppy. And it doesn't look gold, as shown at the back of the packaging. I'm not too sure why this is more reddish, like he's having a rash or something. Really weird. Then it gets even more weirder is at this waist part here, at the edges here, where there's some sort of discoloring. Notice it's more lighter and a bit bluish for some reason. It looks like it's growing mold. The more interesting part is at the bottom of his armpits. You notice he looks like he's bleeding. My God. So does the other side too. Looks like he's bleeding. It's not really nicely done. Back of the figure, there's also a slight discoloration at the back as well. It look a bit bleeded out at the top part here, and the bottom is more lighter in color and a little bit bluish, like molds growing all over this figure. Now, apart from all that, the paint job is really bad. Our reactor here is alright. It's not as yellow or as brightly colored yellow as shown at the back of the packaging. It's more like really dull yellow, you notice here, and some scratch marks is shown there. A lot of this being sold in toy department store, the arc reactor or the unibeam there has a lot of scratches, or at least not completely painted, and there's a lot of sloppy paint job even in the middle of the arc reactor, so I'm not too sure why. Funny thing is, the face paint job is not that bad. There's no bleeding effects, there's no discoloration, the eyes is well painted. I'm not kidding you. 10 over packages and their heads are all the same paint job, there's no problem. But 10 over packages, they all have a problem with the ties and the waist and the arc reactor. I'm not too sure why though. Now, apart from the paint job here, and that's the bottom part here, it's nicely painted of the thrusters. Apart from the paint job, let's take a look at the figure's sculpt. Now, it does have a decent, nice muscle tones all over the back here, the side here, despite the bleeding part, the arms as well, and the legs. But compared to the Guardsman has way more better muscle tones compared to this guy. Now the armor itself, I really like the armor design. It's simplistic and it looks exactly just like in the comics. At least the sculpt is. The paint job looks like he's an Iron Man with skin rash and mold growing out of his body. But the sculpt is not bad. I really like the sculpt, hence why I bought it. And this is the only figure that I think that's decent enough compared to the others. Let's take a look at the articulation. The head can actually turn 360 degrees, but the head is really loose. Look at this. He can pivot the head up and down like so, but it's so loose. Torso is quite interesting. Can turn 360 degrees, go up like so, go down a little bit. Now, the shoulder pads is really something I really don't like, the kind of articulation with this shoulder pad, because it's hinged and it's connected to the torso itself. So every time you want to twist the arms, you have to, move the entire shoulder pad for him to, for you to pose the figure. So I really don't like this kind of shoulder pad. Why can't they just attach the shoulder pad straight to the arm itself? It's just beyond me. Now the arms can actually go all the way like so, or 360 degrees, because the shoulder pad can actually go this far. And spread the arms all the way up like so. The elbow can bend this far and turn 360 degrees, no hindrance. The wrist can actually turn 360 degrees. This one's a bit tight. No waist articulation. The ball joint is surprisingly not bad. It's easily turnable and can bend the legs this far. Swivel tie that turns 360 degrees. No problem with the legs whatsoever. But the peg of the ball joint itself is pegged on this location rather than straight, like so. Double jointed knee. Ankles can turn 360 degrees, but the ankle is a bit hard to try to pivot downwards. This one's still alright, upwards like so. This one's a bit tight, upwards like so. I like the sculpt. It's not bad. I really like the sculpt. It's quite very nice looking. It's not, Hasbro wouldn't reuse the mold, so this is something new. But the paint job is really horrible. At least really bad paint job. Not too sure why. 10 over packages and all these figures look really badly done. So if I'm gonna give a rating of this, the joints is nice, the sculpt is nice, the paint job is really not that really great. So if I'm gonna give a rating of this, I'll say I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's not bad. It's just the paint job is not really great. So this is the end of the review. Thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05 and I'm signing off.